Hey everyone, Korey here. And a couple hours ago, I was sitting in this very chair and I was putting together this demo video for a product. And this thing had so many bells and whistles. We're talking all these different switches and amp models and all this different stuff. And I was just getting to a point where, it was option anxiety, or I don't know what it was, but I just wanted to plug into my Fender Champ. I just started thinking to myself, do we have too many options these days? And I was thinking, as I was playing that slow blues, about Michael Bloomfield, one of my favorite guitar players of all time. If you have not checked out Michael Bloomfield, go check him out. This Super Session is really good. Live Adventures with Michael Bloomfield and Al Cooper, very good stuff. Anyway, I digress. But he always just plugs in one of his guitars into an amplifier and cranks it. So, he's famous for his 59 Les Paul, but of course he had that 60s Telecaster. Later on he used various Telecasters and stuff like that, and even a Strat when he did that Guitar Magazine thing. If you have these blues, play them as you please, I think it is. But anyway, so, and not even using reverb most of the time, just kind of plugging in and cranking stuff away. So SGs being kind of a Les Paul, of course they were the Les Paul in 61. Mike Bloomfield had always used both pickups. I'm using both pickups there. And then when he really wanted to dig in, he'd go to that bridge pickup. Lots of fun. Anyway, so the other thing that happened recently is on my New Year's Eve gig this year, just last week I guess it was, I brought so much gear. If you're on my Patreon, I posted a few pictures, but we were recording, so I brought a bunch of recording gear, a bunch of different microphones. I brought 3 different amplifiers, 5 guitars. We play country music from the 1960s all the way until this year. So, we have to cover a lot of things. I need 2 Telecasters, Stratocaster for the 80s and 90s country tones. I brought the BSG for a lot of the modern Nashville stuff. I had songs that were half step down, songs that were a whole step down, songs that were half step down, plus drop D. So it's drop C sharp, all this different stuff, all these different time-based effects, getting every song perfectly in time. Now, it makes it sound like the recording, of course, but I just am asking myself, do we need all of this stuff? It makes me feel kind of detached from the music-making process a lot of times. So I've always kind of had this thing with simplicity, where, I've always been interested in amps like the Champ or plugging straight into amplifiers. I spent the first couple of years of my gigging life just with a Telecaster plugged into a deluxe reverb. And those were some of the happiest times in my life. And of course, I know a bunch of you are going to say that, have the right tool for the job, or, we're in a more, modern era. We have all these things available to us, so, using them can be fun, but I don't know if it's fun, to be honest with you. There's so much stuff that we have to think about today in order to get, our sounds put together that guys in the past did not, like Michael Bloomfield. He wasn't sitting there flipping between an AC-15 and a Marshall and a Tweed Deluxe and a Champ and, whatever else, or cycling through all these different overdrive pedals to figure out what exactly would fit the song. They just kind of plugged in and played with whatever gear was available there. So anyway, just some thoughts for today. I don't know. How do you feel? Post it in the comments below. Do you enjoy just kind of plugging straight in? Do you find that limiting for you? I've heard everything through the years. It's like, if you're just gonna, plug straight into an amp or something like that, why don't you just play acoustic or something like that? Because there are some people that kind of wear it as a badge of honor, right? I don't use any effects or anything like that. But man, oh, and by the way, I am using one overdrive pedal with the Champ today. I'm using the Boss OD3. That thing sounds great with almost every amplifier I've ever plugged it into. So it's such a great sound. can't tell me that's not fun. So, anyway, yeah, so how do you guys feel about this stuff? Are you getting sick of all the choices? Do you love all that stuff? I just feel like I play better if I have less things to worry about. So, I don't know if that's going to change anything for me necessarily. I did bring the Champ out on a couple gigs last month. But of course, then you have to mic it up and get a monitor, and gain staging is a little bit different because it's only 5 watts. I don't know. In the end, though, I will say that I love this sound, though. It's pretty cool stuff. Okay, so some lesson stuff. So what was I kind of doing there? I mean, this is a very basic quick change blues. It's kind of like playing from that blues box there, by kind of going up into that B.B. King box, and you're just kind of finding your root with the first finger. Right? There's all sorts of cool licks that I kind of got from people like Michael Bloomfield, B.B. King, Freddie King, Robin Ford. I love that one there. So there's a lot of major pentatonic in there, which is kind of like hinting at that Mixolydian sound that we talk about. A lot of that kind of stuff in there. When you go to the 4 chord, you're playing it just as a straight blues. And the reason is because the 4 chord, F7, requires F Mixolydian, which is going to be the same thing as C minor, because C minor is the 2 chord in the key of B flat. But that's why guys like Michael Bloomfield always go for that minor pentatonic over the 4 chord. They'll play major over the 1 chord, and then when the 4 chord comes, now I'm at that flatted 3 of our blues scale. But then back to the major third when it comes back to the 1 chord. Right? And then it's always kind of playing around with these thirds. The 5 chord, of course, is G7. You'll notice that coming from the G mixo. So Mike Bloomfield knew his, at least his chord tones, I think. A lot of people are like, he didn't know theory. I think he did. A lot of players say they don't know theory, but they know chord tones, which is theory. So, but playing over a track like this is really a lot of fun because you have that quick change. And then you can kind of, play around with the 5 chord. So go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are we using too much stuff? Should we go back, and use kind of simpler rigs? Didn't all our heroes use much simpler rigs? Weren't some of the best albums of all time done on simple rigs? Hasn't everything just started to sound the same lately? I don't know. What are your thoughts? All right. I'll see you next time. Peace.